Hey viewers, I bought this Marin mountain bike a while back, and it's a cool bike, but it's got these Manitou Answer 1 forks here that are basically bottomed out. What happens is the old elastomers in there have turned to goo, so it just they're all squished down. So I bought a rebuild kit with brand new elastomers in here, so I'm going to tear these things apart, overhaul them, and install brand new elastomers in there. I'm going to show you the whole process. And I'm going to start off by removing the wheel here. Then remove these brakes, get them out of the way. Next, I'm going to pry off these little top caps here. There's one. And there's two. And you can see some of the pink stuff here. This is from the elastomers. It's kind of all kind of a goo in there. This is what the inside of one of the tubes looks like. You can see the elastomer is sort of melted and then sort of solidified. And it currently has the forks seized. So I'll have to try to free them up. Okay, so down in the tubes, there's a bolt on each side that kind of keeps the lowers from coming off. I'm going to go ahead and remove that. I have a long extension here with a 5mm hex socket on the end here. And so what I need to do is get this down in this side. On this side, the bolt is clear. It doesn't have any of the elastomer goo on it. So this one I should be able to get out pretty easily. So just go ahead and unscrew it. The other side on the cap of the bolt is a glob of the elastomer goo. So that one's going to be a little trickier to get in, but I have an idea what to try. And then see if I can pull the bolt out with a magnet. There, got that out. Now this side is going to be trickier to get that bolt out because on the head of the bolt is a big glob of solidified elastomer goo. But the elastomer goo seems to melt like under a hairdryer or something, so it seems to liquefy. So what I want to do is I'm going to try to heat this hex socket here, so hopefully it'll melt down through the elastomer goo and get into the head of the bolt, and I can remove it. So I'm going to use a heat gun to heat this up. And then see if I can get that to go into the head of the bolt. And it's in there. Yay! And then unscrew it. And see if I can use the magnet to pull that bolt out. Okay, I think it's probably unscrewed. It's just being held in place by the elastomer goo. So now the hardened elastomer goo is holding the lowers in place, not letting them slide off. I want to try to warm them up to hopefully soften that goo so I can slide them off. I'm just going to use a hairdryer, not a heat gun. I don't want to get them too hot. I just want to warm them up a little bit, and I think that'll be enough. They are moving down, so that's good. So I'm going to warm them up a little bit more. And got them off. So here's the screw that I couldn't pull out. It is just stuck in place with the elastomer glue. So I'm going to try to heat this up, see if I can get that loosened up and pull it out. And I got that out. I think there's a washer or something else still stuck in there that I'll have to try to get out. Okay, I'm going to try to use a long rod to push this washer or whatever it is out of there. So I got to warm this thing up again. I'm not quite sure what it is. It might be the remainder of a elastomer, but I think there is a metal washer on there. I don't know. It's gooey. Yuck. Yeah, let's see what I can pull out of this. There might be a washer or something down there, and I'll try with a magnet. See what I can pull out of there. Well, I got another washer out of this side. Well, I'm making progress. I think there's still a few more parts I need to retrieve. I think at the bottom of each of these legs is a white bushing and a metal washer down at the bottom. And so what I need to do is I'm going to heat these up and try to soften the elastomer goo and see if I can get those parts out of there. Okay, so I got one bushing and one washer. Actually, it looks like there's two washers there on the one side, but I got those out. Now I got to do the other side. Okay, another bushing and another washer. I don't know, maybe there's another washer down in there. I'll have to check. I'm going to try soaking these metal parts in here in a little stainless steel dish in acetone. I've read that acetone will help dissolve the elastomer goo. So we'll see how this goes. And yeah, it looks like it's already starting to come off there. But I'll soak these in there, and I may use the acetone to help clean up the fork tubes as well. So we'll see how this goes. Well, after spending about 30 minutes in the acetone, the metal parts cleaned up pretty well. I was just able to use a paper towel and wipe off the elastomer goo. I still kind of want to clean these parts up a little bit more. For these little plastic parts, the bushings, all I did was a paper towel, a little bit of acetone, wiped them down, and they came pretty clean. So I'll use the acetone to clean up the tubes as well. So now in preparation to clean these forks here, I want to remove the dust seal and the bushing in there. So in order to remove the seal here, there's like a little lip around the top here. What I need to do is use like a flat tip screwdriver to get in under that lip, behind the back of the seal, and then pry it out like this. Careful not to damage it. Yep. Like that. And then once you get that out, then you can pry the bushing out. Like that. And so now I'll clean up those parts. And now they have those plastic parts out of here, I can go ahead and use acetone to clean all the elastomer goo out of the inside of the tubes here, and also on the uppers. Now I'm ready to start cleaning the elastomer goo out of the fork tubes. What I'm going to use is a rag soaked in acetone, and what I could use is like a wire or a rod to push it down and push it back up and everything. But what I found was at Harbor Freight, I found these long, like 12-inch locking forceps. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use these, kind of clamp these on there, roll them up like this, and then just soak this in the acetone and push it down into the fork tube. Well, I have the tubes and all the parts go inside all cleaned up, and so I'm ready to start putting this thing back together again. So now the old elastomers are just gone. So I had to get new elastomers. I bought a rebuild kit from Suspension Fork Parts, and it's made specifically for this fork, so this is what I'm going to be using. Now the kit came with 3 different sizes of elastomers. 2 of the shortest ones that will go on the top, 2 of the slightly longer ones which will go right below those, and then 4 of the longer ones which will go below those. It also came with a couple plastic washers. Out of the fork, when I disassembled it, I got 3 of these washers. There was 2 on one side and 1 on the other. That's all that was in there. But I'm actually going to need 4 washers, like 6 washers total. So what I ended up doing was went to Lowe's, and I got a couple fender washers. They're 1 inch in diameter, and I think they were like 3/16 inch in the middle there, but I drilled them out just a little bit so that they would fit smoothly on these bolts here. So I'll probably use 2 of those, these 2, and then these 2, and then there was 2 smaller washers that go on the top, but I'll show you how it all goes together. Now the rebuild kit came with some grease, so I'm going to go ahead and use that. But if it didn't, you want to make sure that you use a grease that is intended for suspension forks. I use Slickoleum normally. If you use the wrong kind of grease, it will definitely damage the elastomers. And anyway, so I'm going to start off with these 2 bolts. I'm going to put a little bit of a grease onto the bolt. And then I'll take one of these small washers and put it on each bolt. And then I'm going to take the smallest of the elastomers, the shortest ones, and slide those onto the bolts like this. And I also want to put a little bit of the grease just kind of around the elastomer. Doesn't need to be a lot, but just a little bit of light coating around on the elastomer. And try to get a little bit on the bottom as well. So now I'm going to take the bolts here and I'm going to drop them down into the uppers here. Tap them around until the bolts drop through like that. Next thing, I want to slide the lower bushings onto the bottoms of the fork tubes here like this. And then I want to put a little bit of grease kind of around the bushings and also around on the tube itself. Just a very light coating. Now the next thing that goes on here is there's going to be a washer goes directly under that bushing. That'll help keep the bushing from sliding down. And then I'm going to slide on the next size of elastomer, and that'll help keep the washer in place there. Now interesting, the diagram that came with this rebuild kit did not show this washer being here. It showed the first washer being down below here, but it has to be there, otherwise this bushing is going to slide out of place. And I looked at other rebuild kits and the diagrams that came with the original forks, and it shows a washer being under there. So there should be a washer right under this bushing there. Then I'm going to slide on another washer here and slide on one of the larger elastomers. Same thing on the other side here. Then I'm going to slide on one of the plastic washers here that came with the rebuild kit and slide on another elastomer. Interesting, the threads of the bolt barely extend through the bottoms of the elastomers there, but I don't think it's going to be an issue because these elastomers will compress, and so I should be able to push this down and get it threaded into the thing. And once I tighten it down, I should get full engagement, so it shouldn't be an issue. And so now I want to go ahead and install the bushings and seals in here. So the bushings I can just kind of slide down into there, like this. And then the seals, they're a bit, wouldn't mind replacing these, but I think they should be able to do okay. But so I'll slide these into place, get them under the lip there, and get it pushed into place. There's one in place. And then there's the other one in place. And then I want to get a little bit of the grease here onto the seal and the bushing. Get it all around in there. Nice good coating in here. And then I want to get some of the grease here on these elastomers up here as well. Just try to get a good coating all around them. Like that. Okay, I'm about ready to go ahead and slide the lowers on, but I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit more grease up in here, up and around these, the bushing up here. Just use the rest of the grease that's in this little bag thing here. Get them all up in there. And then I'm going to slide the lowers on, make sure that the brake posts, the brake studs here are pointed forward. And then just slide them up. And got them on. And slide them all the way to the top. So now I'm going to use my extension here with a 5mm socket, get this down in here and get it into the bolt down there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to be lifting up on this and pushing down and try to get that in, locked in, and start screwing into the bottom there. I'm feeling some resistance, so it's screwing in there. I'm not going to screw it in real tight at the moment. And then do this side. Get it locked in. Okay, there it is. And I push down and start screwing it in. And then I should start feeling some resistance as it's going in. And I'm feeling resistance there. So it is screwing it down into the lower. And okay, so there I'm hitting the bottom. And okay, got that in. Now we want to torque it into place. And the torque setting should be about 30 to 40 inch-pounds. 30 to 40 inch-pounds, not foot-pounds, inch-pounds. So that's not a lot of torque. And there. So now I'll reinstall these caps here. Just kind of tap it down here. And so now I'll reinstall the brakes. And done. There's now suspension on there. It's pretty stiff because I put the firm elastomers in there. The best thing is though, it's not bottomed out. Before the bike was not rideable, so it is rideable now. It's just got a firm suspension in there. That is how to rebuild these Manitou Answer 1 forks. The biggest takeaway probably is how to clean up those old dissolved elastomer goo stuff. Use heat to soften it, use acetone to kind of dissolve the rest of it. And I know people are going to ask me, what happened to the old elastomers? Okay, my guess is it's just the older elastomers, particularly polyurethane that they were made of, degraded over time, broke down, and just kind of dissolved. Another possibility that could have helped was heat. If the bike was out like side and got real hot and cold weather could have broken it down. Another thing is somebody used the wrong lubricant in there, but my guess is the most likely thing is just the particular polyurethane that the elastomers were made out of just broke down over time. Anyway, hope you found this video useful or interesting. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed to my channel, click that subscribe button down there. Be sure to click the bell so you get notified when new videos come out. I'm over on Facebook, RJ the Bike Guy. Go over there, like that page over there. I post stuff over there. It's a lot of fun. Anyway, thank you guys very much for watching.